Hello everyone, we're going to start off by covering each of the 3 abilities for Mad Maggie. The first ability is the passive with Warlord's Ire. This temporarily highlights enemies you've damaged, and then you also move faster with shotguns. Then our second ability is the tactical Riot Drill. You fire a drill that attaches to an obstacle and burns enemies on the other side. And finally, the ultimate, which is Wrecking Ball. Throw a ball that releases speed boosting pads and detonates near enemies. So the main thing to note with the passive about moving faster with shotguns, I tested this and you literally move the exact same speed that you would move if you didn't have any weapons equipped. What that means, if you're playing as Mad Maggie and you have a shotgun, always have your shotgun equipped, because there's no reason not to have it equipped unless you want to fire at someone at range. And then in terms of your passive ability to highlight enemies temporarily once you do damage to them, that's only going to highlight enemies for about a second at max. So if you're just shooting at an enemy and then they pop back into cover, that's not really going to do much for you because you're not going to be able to see where they go behind that cover. However, if you know someone is hiding behind the cover already, you could do something like use your Riot Drill. So I know someone's right behind this boulder, so then I would shoot my Riot Drill at that boulder, and then the Riot Drill would start doing damage to them on the other side of the boulder, which would highlight them. As long as they keep taking damage, they keep on staying highlighted for me, so I could see wherever they're going to come out. And since we're talking about it, let's start talking about the tactical ability, the Riot Drill. You can do some pretty wicked stuff with this Riot Drill. Like the description of this ability says, you can fire this at any obstacle, and then it'll burn enemies on the opposite side of the obstacle. For example, we're going to fire at this rock right here, and right as you activate your tactical, it's going to tell you the depth of what you're firing through. So as you can see on the screen there, that was 2.81 meters, and now anything standing somewhat close to this beam is going to get burned. As I've been testing, I wanted to see just how deep you could go. So for example, let's test this bigger boulder, and this one's 5.89 meters, and we go to the other side, and you can still get burned on the other side of this huge boulder. So then I really wanted to push the limits, and I tested on this massive boulder right here, and this is 9.78 meters, and it still burns people on the other side of the massive boulder. I've tested some boulders even bigger than this, but after a certain point, the depth becomes unknown, and then the beam doesn't fire through the other side of the obstacle. But regardless, 9.7 meters, that's roughly 30 feet, and that's pretty dang far. And then in terms of how long this beam actually burns for, the moment the drill touches the wall and then activates, it's going to burn for 8 seconds. And every time that you use this fire drill, you're going to have to wait roughly 18 seconds before the cooldown is up. In terms of damage, this fire drill can do a lot of damage. But the thing is, even though it can do a lot of damage, if you were to just stand in the beam the whole time, it's so easy to avoid that beam. So though that beam can do over 125 points of damage, you're probably not going to take that full damage ever. And I'd probably say at maximum, you may take only about 25 to 30 hit points of damage, unless you're stuck in a small area. Aside from the fact that the Riot Drill probably won't do that much damage to you, or won't do that much damage to enemy players, there are some good uses for the Riot Drill. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you know someone is behind some cover and you shoot a Riot Drill at that cover, the Riot Drill is going to burn them behind that cover, and it's going to highlight where they are because of your passive ability. So not only are they taking damage, but you're also going to know where they're going to go. And then in addition to this, you could use the Riot Drill to block entries and exits into buildings. Let's say you don't want someone getting in, or perhaps you're even getting chased, then you could just shoot a Riot Drill at an angle at one of the sides of a door, and then the Riot Drill, as long as the door isn't as big as this one in the firing range, it's going to block the entire doorway. If that person's chasing you, they may not go into that doorway at all, or they're at least going to take a little bit of damage, which may help you kill them if you turn around to fight. Finally, coming back to the ultimate ability, the Wrecking Ball. When you throw this Wrecking Ball, you're going to have to wait roughly 1 minute and 12 seconds before this ability is fully charged once again. And then in terms of these speed boosting pads, the moment each one of these speed boosting pads touches the ground, they're going to stay there for 60 seconds before they disappear. And then every single time you touch one of these speed pads, you're going to get a speed boost, and that speed boost is going to last for 3 seconds before it fades away. So essentially, if you're just following the trail of these speed boosting pads, you're not ever going to run out of that speed boost while you're following the trail. And then in terms of the damage that the ball does at the very end of its trail, it's going to do a little bit under 25 damage. It depends on how close you are to the explosion. And in terms of how much movement speed boost you get from these speed boosters, I would say it's roughly around a 65% movement speed increase. So you definitely are going quite a bit faster. So when should you use this ability? I could definitely see this being useful when you're trying to attack a group of people. So you can throw your ultimate at them. It's only going to do a little bit of damage when it explodes, but it causes a slight effect on their screen, screen, and it also kind of knocks them back, so it's going to distract them. And then you have these speed boosters, so you can start running at them rapidly and then close the gap between you and them. And you could also use it for when you're trying to run away from somebody, but the downside of using it when you're running away from somebody is, like I was saying earlier, these speed boosters are literally on the ground for 60 seconds. Yes, you can use these to help you get away faster, but the people chasing you are going to be able to use the same speed boosters that you're using. Kind of defeats the purpose of using this to run away. And that's all I got for you in this video. If you have any questions at all, please post them in the comment section. Subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.